105.99. It is a spooky result, but I got my boy Vince Miracle to break it all down. It won't be a long show, 20 minutes max, most likely. It was an ugly start, but then the bench, their depth gave them some type of life. They got back into the game. It was pretty close, and they got back into the game again down the fourth quarter, man. And we'll have some three takeaways, MVPs, and then we'll have a little bit of some film session. But Vince, happy Halloween. How you doing? How you feeling? I know it's not what we thought it would be, right?
No, I mean it was an interesting game, I guess. It was very lackluster, but it is what it is. At least we get to go trick or treating here in a minute and get to go get some candy to get this taste out of our mouth.
Real quick, Addis Prime says if you caught the Kings at +6 at the half, that Holmes garbage time shot cashed, baby.
Just saved you,
well,
baby.
It saved
what?
you. It didn't cash.
Just saved you, baby.
It's not cash. It pushed.
It's not cash.
A little bit different.
You got lucky. You got lucky.
But when you don't lose, you win, right, Vince? Us degenerate gamblers know what that means.
Look, if you saw it was +4.5 at the tip and you bought the 3 extra points,
I lost.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, look it. The Kings
Shout
were
out to my boy. You know who you are. I told you to buy those extra points.
The Kings were +8.5, +9.5 in game, and if you didn't take that, you lost. But again, I really thought that they were going to come back and win the game, man. Like it was crazy. Took them out 4.5. Unfortunately, it happened the way it happened, man. But again, happy Halloween to everybody that's tuning in today. Happy Sunday as well. It's God's day. I hope y'all went to church today because that's the first thing that I did as soon as I woke up, man. So praise God. But yes, Vince, Miracle, what was your biggest 3 takeaways from tonight's game, bro?
Let's go with I think it's going to be the number one for both of us, is just the Kings don't have any shooters right now. There's just no shooting on this team away from Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes. And when Buddy's not hitting, it makes it very hard to see the Kings coming back from large deficits like we saw in that first quarter. And they couldn't get much going there. That's number one. Number two, it's pretty much clear to me that Harrison Barnes is the most complete player on this team. De'Aaron Fox is still struggling. I mean, he did finish with 14 points.
7 games in, though, right?
7 games. I'm not worried about it per se, but now, if it wasn't on your radar before, we're approaching that 10-game mark. You're starting to notice some things. You're starting to get a little bit concerned. It's not something that you can just start brushing off your shoulder. Now it's starting to turn into a little bit of a stain. So I want to be able to clear that one off. So that's number 2, and then number 3 is I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm wrong about it. I mean, his stat line says he finished with 14, 6, and 4 for Tyrese Halliburton. But stay aggressive, bro. Like there was a moment in that game where you were really starting to take over. Your energy was bringing that team back. You guys got it to within 2 points, and then you kind of just disappeared. I don't know where Halliburton went. He had a nice little pass to Harrison Barnes there in the third, but I felt like he kind of went away. But again, man, I think the number one thing is the most obvious thing, which is away from Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes, there's no shooting on this Kings team.
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, 5 of 14, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc, missed a key 3-point shot down the stretch. And that was my positive last game when I went live at midnight, pretty much. I said that I loved a hero. Right. I said that I loved the fact that he was that he had a good game and that he started to come into his own, because Kings fans had a lot of expectations for this kid. And he was okay, not terrible, not good in the first 4 games, let's say. And then that game he was good at 8 assists. But I did mention that I still want him to be more aggressive. And it's funny how you just said the same thing. Like, yeah, he had an okay game, 14 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, but he needs to be more assertive. And until that happens, the Kings won't win many games. Plain and simple. I told you this, fans, before the season started. Like, he needs to develop that mid-range shot, because I feel like that floater, they are on top of it. They read it. It's literally in the scouting report. He needs to develop something else. I think he has a mid-range shot. He just needs to show it more often.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that the offense runs better when he has the ball in his hands more than when Fox has the ball in his hands?
I do, which is another thing. Which I've said is Fox needs to be better off the ball, needs to cut
The
a
whole
lot
team
better,
does.
and he's capable of doing it. It's not like he hasn't done it, but he hasn't done it enough. And his athletic ability would make him just an insane cutter, just a guy coming off of screens. Like his mid-range shot is just dirty, bro. And I told you this was it 2 games ago. Like I don't know, I don't think you believe in it. I do. They need to just run different actions to get him that shot more consistently because when that starts falling, his game's going to open up. Because if he starts at the 3-point line and he starts to break these shots, his confidence is going to go to the you know what.
I'm just saying, man. I think it's more than just him getting. I mean, he was aggressive today. I don't really think Fox had a bad game other than his shot just wasn't falling, and that's going to be the thing everyone looks at. Like he's trying to be aggressive, his shot just isn't going in. That's why I'm saying like it's nothing that I'm worried about yet. At some point, that Fox will start hitting those shots. It's just they're not falling. It's kind of annoying, but at least he's getting there. I think the biggest thing for me still is how everyone stands still when someone else
Right.
has the ball in their hand. That is the most
100%.
annoying thing to see in the game is it's the ball handler gets a screen. If the roller isn't open, either hit the mid-range jump shot because he gave you that little bit of space or kick it out to the corner and then the next person gets a screen. There's no off-ball movement. When you have shooters
Right.
like Buddy Hield that can go around, why don't you set a back screen for him so he can move without the basketball more? And
Right.
Buddy, just take it upon yourself to move without the basketball. And I'm talking about the entire team because having Fox being off the ball would be great, but I don't know if the offense allows him to move without the basketball to where he
Right.
can be a slasher, and he would be elite in that role, like you're saying.
Okay, let's transition into the Medici MVP of the game. Who is it, Vince? Or who was it for you?
I mean, for me, it's still Harrison Barnes. I think Harrison Barnes is the most complete player on this Kings roster. So if we're just talking about the Kings and who's the Kings MVP for
Yeah.
today, I mean, Kings MVP for today is still going to be Harrison Barnes for me, but closely up there was Tristan Thompson and how well he played off that bench. But I think it's
Not
Harrison
Rashawn
Barnes.
Holmes with 22 points, 13 rebounds.
Not Rashawn Holmes. I
Okay.
mean, for me, I'm looking at the fact I don't feel like Rashawn Holmes, while his game again, this was like another quiet, great game for Rashawn Holmes, right? He did his job, but I don't think it affected the game in any real way. You know what I mean? His defensive
That's
presence
interesting.
wasn't allowed to be seen. It kind of just felt like empty stats,
Empty stats.
a little bit. Yeah,
That's
you
interesting.
know? So,
That's
but I thought
interesting.
Tristan Thompson, as soon as he came off that bench, he made a huge impact. I think Harrison Barnes again. You need to start. He should be the number one option right now. He can do. He can. He's the only person
He
that
was
I truly
1 of 8
believe
from
in.
beyond the arc, though. He
No,
was
but
awful.
everyone was awful. You can't. The Mavs were guarding their two best shooters as soon as they crossed half court. Buddy Hield will cross half court. They have Dwight Powell sitting there waiting for him. Freaking Harrison Barnes crosses half court. He goes sits in the corner, and was it Dorian Finney-Smith is dang near in his jersey with him. So
Right.
it's hard. It's hard for them to get open, and it's hard when you only have two shooters on the court, and everybody else wants to hit that mid-range jumper. So I say Harrison Barnes and Tristan Thompson, but I mean there's cases for guys like Rashawn Holmes. Just for me, it wasn't that impactful.
Okay. So let's transition into breaking down 3 plays from this game. And I guess one of the positives that I saw today from the Kings is they were down by 15, I believe, in the first quarter. And if you guys haven't liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to get the algorithm moving. But their positive was when they went to their bench, right? They brought in Buddy Hield, they brought in Davion Mitchell, and they brought in Tristan Thompson. They injected that life that the Kings typically don't have or haven't had in the last, I don't know, 7 years off the bench, because last year it was Corey Joseph. So now you bring in a true specialist at that position, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. And the first play that we're going to break down is Davion Mitchell adding Luka Doncic to his hit list of clamping dudes down. He moves his feet really well. Quick anticipation hands, Vince. We love seeing it. And then after this, it's just a ripple effect, right? That ignites De'Aaron to play his best defense, and he is clamping down Tim. And then that ignites Tyrese, right? And it's just amazing to watch. You got to love it. Turnover. That is a type of tone that Davion Mitchell sets every single night, which is why the Kings have improved so much defensively.
Yeah, I mean he brings the energy. And I see a lot of people saying this already, so I'm not trying to say I'm making this, but
Right.
he's a culture changer when he steps on the floor and he brings that energy defensively. It's changing the entire game. If one person's doing it and he's a rookie coming in here. I mean, look at how hard your number one guy that you just paid is playing defense now. Look
Right.
at the new starter is playing defense and staying long. I mean, the Kings defense is definitely improving. It's what brought them back into the game when they were down 7-22 at one point in the
Yep.
game. So they came back and it was because of their defense. It was because of the energy. Again, I think it was because of a lot of Davion Mitchell, Tristan Thompson bringing that energy as soon as they stepped off that bench. But I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the early game jitters, but they didn't come to play today.
Yeah, and even though this is a positive clip from Davion Mitchell, we do got to talk about his offense. He's been really bad in terms of his shooting percentages. 24% for the season. Tonight he was 0% because he didn't hit any. And it's not, to me, his jumper looks clean, his mechanics look clean. At this point, it has to be mental. We know he puts the work in. We hear it from all over the places, right? Like, he shows up way early before practice. He does his session with the team, and then he stays after, which again is elite on so many levels. So we can keep on saying, I'm not worried, I'm not worried. But at what point do you start getting worried?
I mean, it's a rookie. I'm not really. I mean, I
Right.
you hope that it doesn't turn into like a situation where you have like a Matisse Thybulle where you can't let him shoot at
Mm-hmm.
all. You know what I mean? But I mean, his defense, as long as he's bringing that type of defensive effort, I believe that someone can always find their shot. Like you said, his shot doesn't look bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's not dropping, and you have to also get used to just being a part of the NBA 3-point line. And I don't think he's taken too many mid-range jumpers. What I like to see is he's trying to get that mid-range pop shot that like Rashawn Holmes does, and if he can start knocking that stuff down, I'd be okay with it. But yeah, man, it's definitely something I'm like. Again, there's no one away from Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield that I'm afraid to shoot the basketball, and I think teams are gonna start sagging off as hard as they can. I mean, not so low to where like these guys can blow past them and get to the rim, because obviously that's gonna be a thing that they're not gonna be able to do. But if no one else is scoring the basketball from the 3-point line, it's gonna be an issue.
So let's talk about this turnover from Buddy Hield. And I know some people will want to blame him for this. I would say 50% is on him. And we'll get into all the positives that he brought to this game, which were a lot. Like, he literally kept him in this game just off of his gravity alone. But on this play, they run a quick pick and roll action. So we can say it's the pistol offense where they get into it real quick. Off a made shot or missed shot, I forget what it was, but this play, for the most part, is always 10 out of 10 with Rashawn Holmes. I don't know if it's a timing thing. I feel like Tristan should have, been here 2 steps ahead already, and he didn't slip right away. And Buddy is anticipating that pass, right? That way he gets a clean roll to the rim. He doesn't. He kind of overshoots him a little bit. But those mistakes can't happen, especially when you're on a run. At this point, they're down 42-37. But these are the mistakes that kill you, because then this leads to a shot, to a very easy shot in transition, right? And it's just a no-no on so many levels.
Yeah, this was a bad play by Buddy Hield. Yeah, that's a rush pick and roll. Like, he showed it, he got Dwight Powell up, and as soon as he saw that Dwight Powell was up, he just threw the ball where he thought Tristan Thompson was going to be. That's a I'm assuming you're going to be there type of moment,
right.
instead of
That's a timing thing too, because
I mean, you can call it timing. I mean, the play is right. Tristan Thompson
right.
had to make contact with Tim Hardaway Jr. That's why he's sitting there. So now that you see Dwight Powell's up, you see him, but the pass is still Buddy Hield's pass. He throws it in front of him. So I mean, that's a bad pass. We got to be that clear on that. That's a bad pass by Buddy Hield.
That's a bad pass, but it's also a slow roll by Tristan Thompson, because he makes
He had
his
to make
pass
contact.
to what?
Rewind it. He has to make contact. Look, He has contact.
Right,
He can't leave, or it's a moving screen.
But if Buddy doesn't let go of this ball, it's a turnover because it gets deflected by the big man at this point. So this is a bang bang play. Like if you play in the pick and roll,
there's a guy. If you can't make the roll here, then pass it out to the other person. But this is a pass right there.
That's your other option, right? It's to pass it back to Davion Mitchell at this point because they were trapping, they were hard hedging him all night long, right? And he made this exact same pass to Rashawn and to TT later in the game. But you see how he was like, how Buddy got mad right there because he was like, you have to just. It's kind of like, yeah, you make contact, but it's more of like a ghost screen, just like a quick little slip. Because you see, like, they know what the scouting report is. Like, they know they're going to hard hedge Buddy every time. So he needs to be smarter about that. Again, that's why I said it's a 50-50 blame because they don't really play together that much. And that's more of a time niche to me. But yeah, I mean, it's something that the Kings have to get better at. And the point of this whole thing was their transition defense needs to get better, man. Like, everybody's jogging down the damn floor, right?
I mean, their heads were down. They were bummed after they were just making a run, and then now I believe they were just making a run, and then they gave up a score to Dallas. Then Buddy got the ball off of a rebound again, and then that's when they got into that situation. Then they're down by, I think, 6 or 8 after that.
Right. So let's look into a positive right now, and this is down the stretch at the 6-minute mark. We see the Buddy Hield effect once again here. You're bringing them off a down pin out here, and they cannot live with him shooting the shot. They took away the shot all game long, the exact same play. This time he actually rolls to the rim right away, and then this leads to a kick out to a wide open Tyrese Halliburton. Perfect Kings execution. You're right, man. Like, when Tyrese has the ball in his hands, when he initiates the offense for the most part, I just feel like this team's a little bit better than when Fox does it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton plays high IQ basketball, but sometimes that's to his detriment too because he wants to make the
pass every time.
The nice play for his teammate instead of being aggressive to get the bucket. But look, he's arguably the team's third best shooter. And I don't even think that's arguably. I think he is the Kings' third best shooter.
And he's shooting like garbage this year. Like
no, but he's not wanting to shoot either. That's what I'm saying. He needs to be aggressive and keep shooting that thing.
He's shooting
the basketball.
He's shooting 31% this season from beyond the arc. That's not going to get it done. Like if that's your third best shooter, that's not going to get it done on so many levels.
Shooters. Yeah, the Kings have no shooters, which is why I had to say that's like the number one takeaway from this game. Away from Barnes and Buddy, they have no shooters on this team, and Dallas played them just like that. We'll let you have as many mid-range jumpers as you want, attack the rim as much as you want, but we're not letting these two guys get many open looks, and they didn't. Every shot they took from three-point land was contested.
So these 3 plays were brought to you by Valley Tire Center. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment of the show. So let's get back to our final thoughts, man. I know it's Sunday. I'm not going to keep everybody here. 18 minutes into the show. Thank you guys for all the support. Again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Final thoughts, Vince Miracle.
Kings need to find something with their offense away from just doing pick and rolls and waiting for someone else to do anything. I'm not yet worried about De'Aaron Fox. He's on my radar, and shooters shoot that thing. Shoot that ball, bro, because it's going to go in at some point.
Hey, man, if y'all didn't cop this shirt, bro, this shirt is fire. By my boy Darren from Midtown Sac. We did a giveaway on it. We chose a winner. And it's a great day to sport this. But I felt like this was Luka, right, Doug Hursta here, and then the Kings fans were Fox getting just smacked today because, the Kings lost. Not a good feeling when you lose games. The Kings are now 3-3, and the Mavericks stay undefeated on the road. Oh, boy. Happy Halloween, y'all. Thank you guys so much. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.